Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Right away, Kroy Biermann, a prisoner of Kim Zolciak for 13 years. Housewives alum and former pro NFL player, Kroy Biermann claims that he was a prisoner of Kim Zolciak's for 13 years. He has been struggling with his estranged wife for over a year now, and it is not getting any easier. Now, she has made some claims about him, but he has his own story to tell. Keep reading for more details. When Kroy Biermann and Kim Zolciak filed for divorce, it was a big shock as they seemed so in love. Not only did he adopt her 2 children from previous relationships, but they had 4 additional children together. From meeting on Right Away, the couple landed their own spin-off, Don't Be Tardy, and lived a life of luxury. Sadly, they had several lawsuits, owed over $1 million to the IRS, and their home was facing foreclosure. Eventually, they ended their marriage and threw allegations at one another. They did try to reconcile, but that did not fix anything, so they proceeded with the dissolution of the marriage. Things took an aggressive turn, and the police were called repeatedly to the home. Kroy called Kim out for having a gambling addiction and excessive spending. Now he is trying to force the sale of their home, as she wants it priced higher than he deems necessary. He just wants it sold so it won't go into foreclosure, thus affecting his credit. Kim has since come out and alleged she pays for everything and Kroy wants her back, but he is doubling down on that story. He took to his Instagram stories to share how he feels and his truth. First, Kroy Biermann shared a handful of slides about narcissism to set the stage. Then he explained that he had been a prisoner of Kim Zolciak's for 13 years. More so, he called out the TMZ interview where she claimed, "He said if I ever divorced him, he would destroy me publicly." There were also allegations that their eldest child, Kroy Biermann, pays for more than Kroy does. He now appears to want to speak his truth as he has been silenced for way too long. After seeing Kim Zolciak's interview about her and Kroy Biermann, fans were not on her side in the slightest. They felt that she was the one responsible for the family's downfall due to her various addictions and needed to get a proper job. "Kim, you broke that man," then started playing in his face. "That's because he's the only one who actually takes care of all of their kids. He's a full-time dad." "Yeah, because she drained his bank account. This lady is a train wreck." "Well, I'm sure he has nothing left thanks to you." "Girl, he definitely doesn't want you back. You dragged him down." They do not think that he wants her back, as she claims, and believe Kim drained Kroy dry. So it is clear whatever Kroy has to say, followers are listening. For 13 long years, Kroy Biermann had been shackled to the golden, glittering world of reality television, and more specifically, to Kim Zolciak, his glamorous yet tempestuous wife. What started as a whirlwind romance, filmed for millions to see on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, quickly spiraled into a situation that Kroy could never have predicted. He had gone from being a promising NFL star to feeling like a prisoner in his own life. A life crafted by Kim, who seemed to thrive in chaos, drama, and constant extravagance. From the moment Kroy met Kim, he was smitten. She was unlike anyone he had ever known, bold, larger than life, and completely intoxicating. But what Kroy didn't know then, as the cameras captured their first flirtations, was that Kim was also unpredictable, domineering, and endlessly demanding. Before he realized it, Kroy's life was consumed by Kim's insatiable appetite for fame, fortune, and control. In the early days, it was easy for Kroy to get swept up in Kim's world. They married quickly, and soon after, Kroy became a regular fixture on Right Away. He was more than just her handsome, athletic husband. He was her partner in everything, from the over-the-top lifestyle to the high-stakes reality TV battles. But behind the glitz and glamour, Kroy began to feel the weight of his new reality. Kim was always in control, whether it was their lavish spending or the way they presented themselves on camera. Every move Kroy made seemed orchestrated by her, and slowly but surely he began to lose himself. His once promising football career became a distant memory, overshadowed by Kim's constant need for attention. The parties, the shopping sprees, the cosmetic enhancements, none of it brought Kroy the happiness he once imagined. Instead, it left him feeling like a pawn in Kim's relentless pursuit of fame. As the years went by, the cracks in their relationship began to show. The public saw glimpses of tension on their spin-off show, Don't Be Tardy, but behind closed doors, things were even worse. Kim's controlling nature reached new heights. She insisted on making all the decisions, whether it was about their finances, their children, or even Kroy's own personal choices. His role in the marriage became clear. He was there to support Kim's every whim, no matter the cost to himself. Kroy had grown accustomed to the chaos, but there were moments when the facade slipped, and he realized just how trapped he had become. Kim's spending habits had spiraled out of control, and Kroy found himself responsible for mounting debts that threatened to consume them. Yet, no matter how dire their financial situation became, Kim refused to change her ways. She was addicted to the lifestyle, the attention, and the power she wielded over Kroy. It wasn't just the financial strain that weighed on him, it was the constant emotional manipulation. Kim knew how to push his buttons, how to make him feel like he was always falling short. She would belittle him in front of others, criticize his parenting, and remind him that without her, he would be nothing. And while Kroy had always been strong, both physically and mentally, the years of living under Kim's control had worn him down. The moments of peace were few and far between. On the surface, they appeared to be the picture-perfect couple, but Kroy knew better. He was constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to upset Kim or disrupt the delicate balance she had created. She could flip from loving wife to enraged diva in the blink of an eye, and Kroy had learned to anticipate the storm before it arrived. But despite the toxic dynamic, Kroy stayed. He told himself it was for their children, that he didn't want to tear the family apart. But deep down, he knew there was more to it. Kim had a way of making him believe that he couldn't survive without her, that the life they had built, as dysfunctional as it was the only one he was capable of living. She had stripped him of his identity, leaving him dependent on her approval and validation. 13 years into their marriage, Kroy reached a breaking point. The tension had been building for years, and now it was impossible to ignore. The couple's public fights became more frequent, and the rumors of their financial woes were impossible to deny. Yet Kim remained as defiant as ever, refusing to acknowledge the cracks in their relationship or her role in their downfall. For Kroy, the realization that he had become a prisoner in his own life was devastating. He had given up so much for Kim, his career, his dreams, his sense of self, and for what? To play a supporting role in her never-ending drama? To endure the constant manipulation and control? The man he had once been, the confident, successful athlete, felt like a distant memory. In his place was a shell of a man, struggling to break free from the life he had unknowingly allowed Kim to create for him. Kroy began to wonder if it was too late to reclaim his life. Could he walk away from the woman who had dominated his world for so long? Could he start over, rebuild his identity, and find happiness outside of Kim's shadow? The thought terrified him, but so did the idea of staying trapped in a marriage that had long since lost its foundation of love and respect. As the cameras continued to roll and the public remained fascinated by their every move, Kroy made a silent vow to himself. He would no longer allow Kim to dictate his life. It wouldn't be easy, and the road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in years, Kroy felt a flicker of hope. He had spent 13 years as a prisoner of Kim Zolciak's world, but now he was ready to break free. The question was, would Kim let him go, or would she fight to maintain control, even as their once glamorous life crumbled around them? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain. Kroy was done living in the shadows, and he was ready to reclaim his freedom, no matter what it took.